Hello everybody, Peter the Rock, Sunday 22nd of October. Ahead of us, or rather behind us, there is the wood through which and from which I have descended. Just thought I'd scan round because we're halfway down to the valley floor now and show you this vista. Now you may think, well, what about it? Well, the great thing is you can see a long way. And that becomes sort of important when we visit Latimer House. But just look at those clouds. Absolutely not moving at all. You know, very interesting that in the aftermath of Storm Babette, there's complete still. They say the still before the storm. There's a cloud formation that looks rather like the Falkland Islands. And in fact, just to the right of it is a plain, and over there looks like a bit of Canada. No wonder the ancients used to look at the stars and see things. Probably looked at the clouds as well. But there's another lovely view along the valley that way as well, and in fact the plane is flying into Canada. Looks like a single-seater, silver grey. There's a tree that's been dead for a long time. Seen it for a long time. One road going through the middle of the valley, even that's not very well, not often occupied. But the great thing about seeing a long way, I would imagine, is, well, would have been a great thing in the last World War, because Latimer House was a secret, I think, place for interrogating prisoners of war, the more senior people, I think. And it must have been possible because they're all probably gentlemen. They perhaps all played bridge together in the evening, who knows. I imagine it might have been fairly easy to escape, at least easier than inside a high security prison. And if there's a lovely little farm, cluster of farm buildings there, I think the origin of that farm is actually in Roman times. Obviously they aren't Roman farm buildings. But of course, if a prisoner escapes, what do? As soon as you discover, you chase after them. And this is where being able to see a long way really helps, because an escaped prisoner can either just run along the valley, in which case he'll easily be seen and caught, or run up into the wood from which I have recently walked. I nearly said escaped myself then, but I didn't. But I think there's another little collection of Falkland Islands clouds. There seems to be a theme running here. But or the Malvinas, for those of my Spanish viewers. I don't know if there are any. I know there are a few people in the United States, because they give me a demographic report on my viewership, but how accurate that is, I don't know. It's mostly UK people, and mostly blokes for some reason. Anyway, I'd love to expand my demographic, but what can I do? Just post videos, see what happens. Anyway, you can see ahead of us the road and a field, a well-trodden field, which we cross. See the weir on the River Chess, then ascend towards Latimer House, which is a landmark on this walk on a lovely Sunday in October. I couldn't have come here yesterday, I would have been completely drenched. The harvest is obviously gone in these fields, but it looks like there's even a crop growing again now. Whether it's fallow and it's just growing, I don't know. It's a beautiful tree up ahead, an oak tree. Nice irregular shape and yet symmetrical. So I like coming here because you know, there's some slightly irritating machinery going on somewhere to my left now, but it feels remote. It could be anywhere probably in Britain or France, northern France, or the Low Countries, I imagine. And it's quite difficult to get to because you have to get to Chalfont-Latimer station, walk for about 25 minutes to get to the wood, and then you have to descend through the wood along the right path. There are no signs, and although I've done this dozens of times, I picked the wrong path today. I went down the steep one. That was very silly because it got very difficult to judge my footing on fairly slippery, boggy bits. But here I am, unscathed. Anyway, there's another little plane up there. Perhaps someone has escaped and they're using a plane to find them. If they've escaped and they were incarcerated in 1945, it's about time they got away, I think. That's 78 years ago. They'd be pretty old by now. And there's a lady jogging. Always good to see. My next door neighbour, Adele, just completed a half marathon, which I think is wonderful. 2 hours and 10 minutes. Well done to her. But there's such an enthusiasm these days for going in for marathons, half marathons or whatever. She tells me that she's been on the waiting list to go in for the London Marathon for 8 years. So, you know, it's quite difficult to put yourself through hell. You have to wait 8 years to get there. So we're at the bottom of the valley now, just about. One last look at this marvellous field. I mean, that would make a fantastic view. There's another oak over there, huge. And now the planes have gone, the birds have decided to do a bit of chirruping, do their bit. And the clouds are starting to move. It's almost as if my ideas are popping one by one, but I don't mind. It's just a very pleasant place to be. And when you're out in a place like this, you almost feel as if you own it. You know, to own this amount of land, this near to London, I'd need to be a multi-millionaire, I should think. But I don't need to. Just be a member of the public, just walking along public rights of way. And I'm sure you do as well, dear viewer, and if you don't, then there's no reason why you shouldn't really. Very pleasant. Thanks a lot for watching. Like and subscribe.